The leather chair creaked as I shifted my weight. The smell of old paper and furniture polish filled the small conference room. Mr. Patterson, my attorney for the past 20 years, slid another document across the mahogany table toward me. His reading glasses caught the afternoon light coming through the Venetian blinds. "Just your signature here, Robert," he said quietly. "And here." I picked up the pen. It was heavier than I expected. Or maybe my hand was just tired. Tired from holding on too tight for too long. I signed my name, Robert Mitchell, on the line. Then the date, March 15th, 2024. "That's it?" I asked. "That's it," Mr. Patterson confirmed. "The transfer is complete. Luke is now the legal owner of Mitchell's Automotive Restoration. You retain living quarters above the shop and a monthly stipend for life. But operational control passes to your grandson, effective immediately." I nodded slowly. I'd made my decision. Now I just had to live with it. "Your son doesn't know?" Mr. Patterson asked, though we'd been over this a dozen times. "No," I said. "He'll find out tomorrow. At the meeting." The meeting. That's what Derek had called it when he'd arranged everything 2 weeks ago. "Dad, I've set up a meeting with some investors who are very interested in the property. I think you'll be excited about their offer. It's time to think about your future." My future. Funny how everyone suddenly became an expert on my future once they decided I was too old to manage it myself. It started 18 months ago, right after my wife Ellen passed. Cancer. 62 years together, and then she was gone. The house felt too big, too quiet, so I spent more time at the shop. More time with my hands in engine grease, restoring classic Mustangs and Chevelles and the occasional Corvette. The work kept me sane. Derek visited the week after the funeral. He lived in Phoenix, about 2 hours away. Corporate finance job, big house in Scottsdale, wife who wore too much jewelry and complained about the heat. "Dad," he said, looking around the shop with barely concealed distaste. "You can't keep doing this. You're 67 years old. Mom's gone. This place is. It's too much for one person." "I have Luke," I said. My grandson had been working with me part-time since he was 16. Now 19, he'd delayed college to help me full-time after Ellen died. The boy had a gift for engines, a natural feel for the work. "Luke's a kid," Derek said dismissively. "He needs to go to college, get a real career, not waste his life in a garage. Waste his life." That's what my son thought of my life's work. 45 years building this business from nothing. Mitchell's Automotive Restoration had a reputation across 3 states. Collectors shipped cars from California, Texas, even Montana for us to restore. But to Derek, it was just a garage. "The property alone is worth a fortune," he continued. "Prime commercial real estate right off Highway 60. Developers are dying to build here. You could sell, move into one of those nice retirement communities. Meadow Vista has beautiful facilities, pool, activities director, medical staff on site. I'm not interested in water aerobics and bingo, Derek." "Dad," he put his hand on my shoulder, that condescending touch I'd come to recognize. "I know this is hard, but Mom would want you taken care of. You can't live above a garage forever. What if you fall? What if you have another health scare?" The health scare. He meant my heart attack 3 years ago. Mild. The doctors said I was fine, just needed to watch my diet and stress. But Derek had latched onto it like proof I was dying. "I'm fine," I said. "For now," he said. "But Dad, be realistic. You're not getting younger. Let me help you. Let me handle this. Let me handle this." That phrase would haunt me. Over the next months, Derek's visits became more frequent and more insistent. He'd show up with brochures for retirement homes, articles about seniors aging in place, statistics about falls and accidents among the elderly. "Just come look at Meadow Vista," he'd say. "Just a tour. What's the harm?" I went, once, to shut him up. The place was nice enough, clean, bright, full of old people shuffling around in comfortable shoes. The activities director showed me the craft room, the library, the dining hall with its pureed food and large print menus. "We have a wonderful community here," she chirped. Our residents really thrive in this environment. I felt like I was being sold a coffin. What do you think? Derek asked eagerly on the drive back. I think I'd rather die in my shop, I said. He didn't laugh. That might actually happen, Dad. That's what I'm trying to prevent. After that, things changed. Derek started calling me every day. Not to chat, to check. Did you take your medications? Did you eat? Did you remember your doctor's appointment? Like I was a child. Then he started showing up unannounced. I'd be under a car, and suddenly he'd be there, criticizing the ventilation, the lighting, the stairs to my apartment. This isn't safe, Dad. What if you fell down these stairs? I've been walking these stairs for 40 years, Derek. Exactly. You're not 40 anymore. Luke noticed the tension. Grandpa, is everything okay? Derek seems, I don't know, intense lately. Your father thinks I'm too old to wipe my own ass, I said. Luke grinned. Want me to tell him you can still outwork me on a transmission rebuild? Wouldn't matter. He's made up his mind. And then came the phone call that changed everything. I was in the shop, helping Luke balance a carburetor on a '68 Camaro, when my phone rang. Unknown number, Phoenix area code. I almost didn't answer. Mr. Mitchell? This is Sarah Chen from Redstone Development Partners. Your son Derek gave me your number. I understand you own the property at 4150 Highway 60 inches Apache Junction? My stomach dropped. What's this about? I'd love to discuss a potential acquisition. Your son mentioned you might be interested in selling. We're prepared to make a very competitive offer. My son had no right to give you my number, I said. I'm not selling. There was a pause. I apologize if I've overstepped. Derek seemed quite certain that you were ready to move on from the property. He mentioned health concerns. Derek talks too much, I said, and hung up. I called my son immediately. He answered on the first ring, his voice cheerful. Hey, Dad. Funny you should call. I was just about to reach out. What the hell are you doing giving developers my information? Silence. Then, carefully. Dad, they just wanted to talk. There's no harm in listening to an offer. I told you I'm not selling. Dad. His voice took on that patient, explaining to a child tone. You haven't even heard their offer. It's substantial. Life-changing money. You could live anywhere. Do anything. I'm doing what I want right here. In a garage? Dad, please. Think about your future. You can't keep working like this. What happens when you physically can't do the work anymore? What happens when something breaks and you can't fix it? The building needs repairs. The equipment is outdated. Taxes keep going up. I can handle my own finances. Can you? The question hung in the air. Dad, I've been looking at your accounts. You what? When Mom died, you added me to your bank accounts. Remember? For emergencies. And Dad, I'm worried. Your overhead is high. Your income is inconsistent. Last quarter, you barely broke even. This isn't sustainable. I felt cold. Those accounts were for emergencies, not for you to spy on me. I'm not spying. I'm trying to help. Dad, the smart move is to sell while the market is hot. Redstone is offering $2.4 million for the property. $2.4 million. You'd never have to worry about money again. I don't worry about money now. But you should. What about Luke's future? What about leaving something behind for your family? If you hold on to this place until it falls apart, it'll be worth nothing. Sell now, invest wisely, and you'll have real security. I have security. I have my business. Dad. He sighed, long and exasperated. You have a garage with old equipment and no succession plan. What happens when you're gone? Luke doesn't have the business sense to run this place. It'll fail within a year. But if you sell now, invest the money properly, you can leave him something that actually matters. Luke doesn't have the business sense. That's what he thought of his own son. The same way he thought of me, too old, too incompetent, too much of a liability. I need to go, I said. Dad, please, just meet with them. Just listen. I've set up a meeting for next Thursday at 2 p.m. Just hear them out. I'll be there too. We can make this decision together. As a family, I already made my decision, then make a new one. For Mom. She'd want you safe and comfortable, not killing yourself in a garage. He hung up before I could respond. I stood there, phone in hand, feeling something I hadn't felt in years. Helpless. Like I was losing control of my own life, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. Grandpa? Luke was standing in the doorway, holding a wrench, concern on his face. You okay? I looked at my grandson, 19 years old, grease under his fingernails, wearing the Mitchell's automotive restoration shirt I'd given him for his birthday. He'd turned down Arizona State University to stay here, to work with me, to learn. Luke, I said slowly, how much do you love this place? Sir? The shop, the work. How much does it mean to you? He didn't hesitate. Everything. Grandpa, I know Derek thinks I should go to college, but this is what I want. Learning from you, restoring these cars, building something real with my hands. This is where I belong. I nodded. Good, because I need to ask you something, and I need you to be absolutely sure before you answer. That evening, I called Mr. Patterson. We'd been friends since before Derek was born. He'd handled Ellen's will, the business incorporation, every legal matter for decades. Robert, he said warmly, how are you holding up? I need to make some changes, I said, to my will and to the business structure. I'm listening. I explained everything. Derek's calls, the developers, the pressure to sell. He thinks I'm too old to run my own life, I finished. And maybe he's right to worry, but he's wrong about what I need. What do you need? Mr. Patterson asked. To know this place will continue, that it won't be torn down the day I'm in the ground, that Luke will have what he's earned. You want to transfer ownership to Luke? Yes, but I want to retain living rights and income, and I don't want Derek to know until it's done. There was a long pause. Robert, I have to ask, are you certain? Derek is your son. This will damage your relationship. Derek already damaged our relationship when he decided I was incompetent. I'm just protecting what matters. When do you want to do this? Before Thursday. Before that meeting with the developers. I want it done. I'll draw up the papers, Mr. Patterson said. Come in tomorrow. The next 3 days were strange. Derek called twice, confirming the meeting time, sounding excited. Dad, I really think you're going to love their proposal. Redstone has such a clear vision for the property. This could be great for all of us. All of us. Meaning him. I signed the papers on Wednesday afternoon. Luke stood beside me, his hands shaking slightly as he added his signature. Grandpa, are you sure? He asked for the 10th time. Never been more sure of anything, I said. That night, I barely slept. I kept running through scenarios. How Derek would react. What he'd say. Whether I was making a terrible mistake. But then I thought about Ellen. What she'd say if she were here. She'd always been the peacekeeper between Derek and me, smoothing over our differences. But she'd also been fierce about the shop. This place is our legacy, Robert, she'd said once. Don't let anyone tell you it doesn't matter. I wasn't letting anyone tell me that. Not anymore. Thursday, 2 p.m. I arrived at the conference room 10 minutes early. It was in a modern office building in Phoenix, all glass and steel. Redstone Development Partners, Suite 304. The receptionist smiled. Mr. Mitchell? They're expecting you. Conference room B. Derek was already there, wearing a suit, talking animatedly with a woman in a navy blazer and 2 men in expensive ties. They all turned as I entered. Dad. Derek came over, clasped my shoulder. You made it. Come in. Sit down. These are the folks from Redstone. Sarah Chen, VP of Acquisitions. Tom Morrison, their lead developer. And David Kraft, their attorney. We all shook hands. Their grips were firm, confident. The grips of people who always won. Mr. Mitchell, Sarah said warmly. Thank you so much for coming. We've heard wonderful things about your property. Derek's been very helpful in giving us the background. I'm sure he has, I said. We sat. Derek beside me, Redstone across the table. Sarah opened a leather portfolio and slid a document toward me. This is our formal offer, she said. As discussed, we're prepared to offer $2.4 million for the property at 4150 Highway 60, including all buildings and equipment. The terms are very favorable. 60-day closing. No contingencies. Cash sale. I looked at the number. $2,400,000. Written right there in black and white. That's a fair price, Dad, Derek said eagerly. More than fair. It's an incredible opportunity. We believe the property has significant development potential, Tom added. The location is prime for our planned mixed-use complex. Retail, dining, residential. It'll revitalize the whole area. What happens to the shop? I asked. A slight pause. Sarah smiled. The existing structures would be demolished to make way for the new development. But you'd be well compensated. Demolished. Dad. That's how development works, Derek said. They need a clean slate. But think about what you could do with that money. You could open a smaller shop somewhere else if you really wanted. Or retire. Completely. Travel. Enjoy yourself. I enjoy myself now, Dad. Derek's patience was wearing thin. You work 12-hour days in a garage. That's not enjoying life. That's just existing. There it was. His real opinion. What I did wasn't living. It was just existing. We understand this is a big decision, Sarah interjected smoothly. We're prepared to give you time to think it over. But I do want to mention that we have other properties we're considering if this doesn't work out. So while we're not pressuring you, time is somewhat. The answer is no, I said. Silence. Dad, I'm not selling. Derek's face reddened. Dad, you haven't even thought about it. You just heard the offer. I heard it. And I'm not interested. Mr. Mitchell. David the attorney spoke up. Perhaps if we could address any specific concerns. My concern is that you want to destroy something I spent my life building so you can put up some shopping mall. It's not a shopping mall, Tom said defensively. It's a carefully planned community space. I don't care what you call it. It's not happening. Dad! Derek stood up. Can we have a minute? Privately? Sarah nodded graciously. Of course. We'll step outside. The Redstone team filed out. The door clicked shut. Derek rounded on me. What are you doing? He hissed. Saying no. You can't just say no. This is $2.4 million. Do you understand what that means? It means you'd get a nice inheritance when I die. He froze. That's not. This isn't about me, isn't it? Dad, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to make sure you're taken care of. That money could change your life. My life doesn't need changing. Yes, it does. He was almost shouting now. You're 67 years old, living above a garage, working yourself to death on cars that nobody cares about anymore. Mom's gone. You're alone. You need to face reality. Reality? You want to talk about reality? Reality is you've been planning this for months. Calling developers, sharing my financial information, pressuring me to move into some old folks' home. You've already decided my life is over. You just needed me to sign the papers. That's not true. Then why did you give them my information before asking me? He had no answer. Derek, I said more quietly, I know you think you're helping, but you're not. You're trying to manage me, to control my life, because you think I'm too old to do it myself. You are too old to be doing manual labor in a garage. That's my decision to make. Not yours. But what about Luke? Derek tried a different angle. Don't you want him to have opportunities? A real future? Luke has a future. Here, with me, working in a garage for the rest of his life. Dad, he could go to college, have a real career. He's learning a trade, a valuable trade. He's happy. He's 19. He doesn't know what he wants. He knows better than you give him credit for. Derek stared at me. I saw the moment something shifted in his eyes, frustration giving way to something harder. Fine, he said coldly. If you won't do this for yourself, I'll do it for you. What does that mean? It means maybe you're not capable of making good decisions anymore. Maybe we need to have a different conversation. About competency. About what's really best for you. My blood ran cold. You're threatening me. I'm protecting you. Even if you're too stubborn to see it. He left the conference room, grabbed the Redstone team, and they all disappeared into another office. I sat alone for 10 minutes, shaking with anger and something worse, fear. Was he serious? Could he actually try to declare me incompetent? Force me out of my own business? I called Mr. Patterson. Robert, how did it go? He's threatening to have me declared incompetent. He can't do that without medical evidence and a court order. But Robert, maybe we should move up our timeline. When were you planning to tell him? I wasn't sure. Tell him today. After this meeting. Don't let him take any more steps down this road. You have to stop this now. I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. Okay. Today. Derek returned 20 minutes later. Alone. His expression was carefully neutral. They're disappointed, he said. But they're giving you 72 hours to reconsider. After that, the offer expires. I'm not going to reconsider. We'll see. The next morning, Friday, Derek showed up at the shop unannounced. Luke was there, working on a transmission. Derek barely glanced at him. Dad, we need to talk. I'm busy. This can't wait. I wiped my hands on a rag. Fine, let's talk in the office. We climbed the stairs to my small office above the shop. Derek closed the door, sat down without being asked. I spoke to Dr. Morrison yesterday, he said. My doctor. You called my doctor? He's concerned about your stress levels. Your blood pressure is elevated. You're not sleeping well. You admitted to him at your last appointment that you're overwhelmed. I said I had a lot on my mind. That's not the same as being overwhelmed. Dad, Dr. Morrison thinks you might be experiencing cognitive decline. The stress, the forgetfulness, the poor decision-making. I'm not forgetful, and my decisions are fine. Turning down $2.4 million isn't fine. It's irrational. And when someone your age starts making irrational decisions, we have to ask why. I stood up. Get out. Dad. I said, get out. This conversation is over. It's not over. I've scheduled an appointment for you next week with a geriatric specialist, Dr. Sandra Walsh. She'll do a comprehensive cognitive assessment. I'm not going. You have to. For your own good. Derek, I want you to leave. Now. He stood slowly, his face hard. I'm not giving up on you, Dad, even if you've given up on yourself. After he left, I sat down heavily. Luke appeared in the doorway. I heard, he said quietly. Grandpa, what are we going to do? We're going to speed up the timeline, I said. I called Derek that afternoon, asked him to come to the shop Saturday morning. I want to talk, I said. Really talk. About everything. He sounded surprised but pleased. Of course, Dad. I'll be there at 10. Saturday morning. I was up at dawn. Luke arrived at 8, nervous. Are you sure about this? He asked. Too late to back out now, I said. Mr. Patterson arrived at 9:30, carrying his briefcase. Ready? He asked. Ready. Derek pulled up exactly at 10. He got out of his BMW, looking cautiously optimistic. Like maybe he'd finally gotten through to me. Morning, Dad, he said as he entered the shop. Then he saw Mr. Patterson. Oh, I didn't know this was a formal meeting. It needs to be, I said. Come on, let's go to the office. We climbed the stairs. Luke followed. Derek frowned. Luke doesn't need to be here. Yes, he does, I said. In the office, we all sat. Derek across from me. Mr. Patterson beside me. Luke standing by the door. Derek, I started. You've made it clear you think I'm incompetent. That I can't make good decisions. That I need to be protected from myself. Dad, I never said. You did. Maybe not in those exact words, but that's what you've been saying for months. And I want you to know, I heard you. I took it seriously. I thought long and hard about whether you were right. Derek leaned forward. And I decided you were right about one thing. I do need to think about the future. About succession. About what happens to this place when I'm gone. I'm glad you're finally so I made some changes. I nodded to Mr. Peterson. He opened his briefcase and removed a document. As of last Wednesday, Mr. Peterson said formally, Robert Mitchell transferred full ownership of Mitchell's automotive restoration to Luke Mitchell. Robert retains lifetime rights to his living quarters and a monthly stipend, but operational control and ownership now rest with Luke. Derek's face went blank. What? Luke owns the shop now, I said simply. You gave him the business? Yes. Without telling me? Without even discussing it? The same way you discussed calling developers and my doctor without telling me. Derek stood up, his face flushing dark red. This is insane. Dad, Luke is 19 years old. He can't run a business. He's been helping me run it for 3 years. Helping isn't running. You can't do this. It's already done, Mr. Peterson said calmly. All legally executed and filed. Derek turned on Luke. You knew about this? Luke nodded, his voice steady. Grandpa asked me if I wanted it. I said yes. You manipulated him. I didn't manipulate anyone, Luke said. I love this place. I want to continue what Grandpa built. Unlike you. Unlike me? I'm trying to save him from himself. No, I said. You're trying to save yourself from having to deal with me. It's easier to put me in a home, sell the property, take your inheritance, and move on. But I'm not ready to be put away, Derek. And I'm sure as hell not selling this place so you can fund your retirement. That's not what this is about. Then what is it about? He struggled for words. It's about, you're my father. I care about you. I don't want you to get hurt. Then stop trying to control me. I'm not trying to control you. I'm trying to help. Help is offering support. Control is making decisions for me. There's a difference. Derek looked at Mr. Peterson. This can't be legal. He's not in sound mind. I evaluated Mr. Mitchell extensively before executing these documents, Mr. Peterson said. He is completely competent. In fact, I'd say his reasoning was excellent. Derek's hands clenched into fists. You've made a huge mistake, Dad. Both of you. This business will fail within a year. And when it does, don't come crying to me. I won't, I said. He looked at Luke. And you're throwing your life away. You could have gone to college, had opportunities. I have opportunities here, Luke said quietly. Real ones. I'm sorry you can't see that. Derek grabbed his jacket. I'm done. With both of you. You want to run this place into the ground? Fine. But don't expect me to pick up the pieces. He stormed out. We heard his BMW roar to life, gravel spraying as he sped away. Mr. Peterson stood. I'll give you two some time, he said gently. After he left, Luke and I sat in silence. Grandpa, Luke finally said, did we just ruin your relationship with Derek? Derek ruined it when he stopped seeing me as his father and started seeing me as a problem to solve. He might come around. Maybe, maybe not. I looked at my grandson. But Luke, I need you to understand something. This isn't just about spite or proving Derek wrong. This place, it's special. What we do here matters. Those cars we restore, their history, their art, they're pieces of people's lives. And you have a gift for this work. A real gift. Don't waste it. I won't, Grandpa. I promise. Good. Because you're going to make mistakes. Lots of them. But that's okay. That's how you learn. Just remember why we do this. Not for money. Not for recognition. But because there's dignity in creating something with your hands. In bringing something broken back to life. Luke nodded, blinking back tears. Thank you, he whispered. Thank you, I said. For staying. For caring. For being the grandson I needed. 3 weeks passed. Derek didn't call. Didn't visit. I'd sent him a message, just a simple, I love you. And my door is always open, but he didn't respond. It hurt. Of course it hurt. He was my son. But I'd meant what I said to Luke. Derek had stopped seeing me as a person with agency and started seeing me as a liability. And I couldn't live that way. Luke thrived. He was nervous at first, checking with me on every decision. But gradually, he found his confidence. He negotiated with suppliers, scheduled jobs, even hired a part-time helper, a kid from his high school who needed work. "Grandpa," he said one evening as we locked up, "we got a call today. A guy from California wants us to restore his '57 Thunderbird. Full restoration, 6-month project, $30,000 job." I whistled. "That's huge." "I know." I told him we'd do it. Luke grinned. "Was that okay?" "More than okay." "That's excellent." As we walked to our apartments, Luke had moved into the spare room above the shop. He said, "Derek called me today." I stopped. "He did?" "Yeah." Asked how the business was going. I told him good. He said he's sorry for how things went down. To you or to me, to both of us, I think. But he's not ready to talk yet. I nodded. "That's okay. I can wait." "Do you think we'll ever be okay again? As a family?" "I don't know," I admitted. "But I hope so, because despite everything, I still love him. He's still my son. Even after what he tried to do, even then, love doesn't stop just because someone hurts you. It just changes shape." Luke considered this. "You're pretty wise, Grandpa." I laughed. "I'm just old, and old people have made enough mistakes to learn a few things." 6 months later, the Thunderbird restoration was nearly complete. It was beautiful, candy apple red, chrome gleaming, engine purring like a kitten. The owner was flying in next week to pick it up. I was under the hood, making final adjustments, when I heard the shop door open. Footsteps. Familiar ones. I slid out from under the car. Derek stood there, looking uncomfortable. Older, somehow. Tired. "Hey, Dad," he said quietly. "Derek." An awkward pause. "Luke said I could stop by. The Thunderbird looks incredible." "It does." "Luke did most of the work." Derek nodded. "I heard business is good. You landed 3 more big contracts." "We did." Another pause. Derek shoved his hands in his pockets. "Dad, I owe you an apology. A real one. I was wrong. About so many things." I waited. "I convinced myself I was helping you," he continued. "But really, I was just scared. Scared of losing you. Scared of watching you struggle. And instead of dealing with that fear like an adult, I tried to control everything. Control you. And I'm sorry. I appreciate that," I said carefully. "I know I can't undo what I did. The things I said. But if you're willing, I'd like to try again. As father and son. Not as whatever we became." I looked at my son. Really looked at him. Saw the regret. The exhaustion. The genuine pain. "I'd like that too," I said. His shoulders sagged with relief. "Yeah? Yeah. But Derek, things have to be different. You can't keep treating me like I'm incompetent. I'm your father, not your child." "I know. I do. I need to learn to trust that you know what you're doing. And you need to trust Luke. He's doing a hell of a job here." Derek smiled slightly. "He is, isn't he? I was wrong about that too. About him. He's got real talent." "He does. Think he'd let me take him to lunch sometime? To apologize?" "I think he'd like that." We stood there, in the shop I'd built, surrounded by the tools and cars and history of my life. My son and I, finding our way back to each other. "You were right, you know," Derek said suddenly. "About this place. It does matter. What you built here, what you're teaching Luke, it's real. It's valuable. I couldn't see it before, but I see it now. Thank you for saying that." "I mean it, Dad. I'm proud of you. I should have said that more often." My throat tightened. "I'm proud of you too, Derek. You made a mistake, but you owned it. That takes courage." He cleared his throat, blinking rapidly. "So, can we start over?" "We can start over," I agreed. He stuck out his hand. I shook it. Then, impulsively, pulled him into a hug. He hugged back, tight. "I love you, Dad," he whispered. "I love you too, son." When we pulled apart, Luke was standing in the doorway, grinning. "Am I interrupting?" he asked. "Not at all," Derek said. "Actually, I was hoping we could all grab dinner. My treat. If you're both free?" Luke looked at me. I looked at Derek, and for the first time in months, things felt right. "Dinner sounds good," I said. That night, over burgers at the diner we used to go to when Derek was a kid, we talked, really talked, about Ellen, about the shop, about the future. Derek admitted he'd been seeing a therapist, working through his control issues. Luke shared his plans for expanding the business, maybe hiring more staff. And I sat there, listening to my son and grandson plan and dream and rebuild what had been broken, and I thought about Ellen, about how she'd always said family was about showing up, about trying, about not giving up on each other. We'd almost given up, but we hadn't, and that made all the difference. Later, as I lay in bed above the shop, listening to the familiar creaks and settling sounds of the building, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. I hadn't won anything in the traditional sense. I hadn't made millions. I hadn't proven Derek wrong, or myself right. But I'd kept my shop. I'd kept my voice. I'd kept my right to choose my own path. And I'd kept my family. That was victory enough.